Oh, the camera, the Wi-Fi. You know, when I was in Florida, I really didn't have Wi-Fi. So it was really challenging to put anything out there. But that was just a message for me to enjoy that. But I did get Gemini out there. So if you haven't seen the Gemini reading and you have any Gemini placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, then I would suggest you look at that. Or you may have Sun in third house. Anyway, that song came up. So I'm thinking that some of you Cancers are feeling not as sexy as you have been before. What's going on here with this Tower card coming out? It was like a gentle slide out, but it's still the Tower nonetheless. This is oppression, right? Sexually oppressed, right? Because Mars is the sex drive. And then I did say, oh my Lord, I must say, I wanna let you know I'm not just for show. You know what I mean? You gotta understand the reasons why I want to try to make things right. I don't want to be alone tonight. You know that song? So this is your sexual oppression and your aggression from that sexual oppression. Are you oppressing yourself sexually? Are you repressing your look? This one just does not want to stay. It's fine. But I'm feeling that too. And look, the devil, Saturn, Capricorn, opposite you, opposition, opposing, struggle, right? Codependency. Maybe you took a step back from something that you felt like you were relying on too much. Maybe you were relying on people too much. Or maybe people have become reliable or relying on you too much. And you had to create those healthy situations for yourself, or you maybe had to look at the toxic struggles that kept you bound to something that you needed to break away from, right? This could also just be using sex being like a drug, or sex at one time being a codependency, or maybe some of you are abstaining from that, or maybe some of you have just broken the ties that bound you. That's tower, right? That breaking down to build something up, okay? And this is also a lesson being learned from that struggle and from that codependency. You know, this is a six, so it is related to the sixth house of daily activity, of things happening consistently. You know, this is also struggles within trying to create consistency in something. This is being, you know, held in control, something being out of control, not under your control. You are under its control, Cancer, whatever that thing is. And this could be something in your head, something in your mind, something has taken control of the way that you see things, the consistency. There's inconsistency here. And that might be why the tower came in, to change that and shake things up. And you know, Mars actually is in your sign right now with Mercury. So you're focused on something, right? And you're focused on the thoughts, right? You're thinking about what you're focused on. You know, it's like Mars and Gemini. What is that a card? I believe it is. I think it's like Nine of Swords. So it's kind of like that worry there because you have Mars and Mercury in your sign. So you're definitely thinking about things a lot. There's weight there. Okay, it's substantial for you and it's critical, right? Because the sixth house is critical and this is 15, so it is a six. So it is related to the lovers. It's like a backwards flipped out version of the lovers. You know what I mean? And some of you might just be feeling like, no, I'm not going to be in a relationship right now, or you're looking at the relationship that you've been in and you're seeing where things need to change and where things need to be acknowledged in a way that is acceptable, that's honorable to you or to the both of you that are involved. You know what I mean? So that you can really see what matters in these situations that either lead to your motivation, your dedication, your separation, your anxiety. You know what I mean? Your tendency to always go back to something that might be toxic and maybe unhealthy for you just because it's what you have always been doing or it is the only thing that you know, right? So some of you might be uncomfortable because you're letting yourself break away from those things that you know. But in doing that, it's almost like your sexual um, health, I guess, right? Not like internally, but like externally. Your sex life is kind of maybe taking the brunt of that as well, right? Because you're trying to step back and look at things and see where, you're learning, where you're figuring out where the work needs to be done. What are the lessons that are actually going to contribute to you having substantial success, right? That's worthy of carrying into your future with you, that's going to lead you somewhere, okay? Gradually, right? What is the body of work here? Right? That's what you're looking at. You're looking at a body of work. And you're trying to really honor that body of work, whatever it is, a paper, being a stay at home mom. You're really looking at how you can maintain a level of consistency that is going to contribute to you growing. Okay? Let me shuffle these one more time. But the sex life as well, here we go with the death card. This is Scorpio. That's another water sign of yours. All of the water signs are getting that Mercury retrograde. Mercury's already there. So what are we focused on? What are we thinking about? We're thinking about power. We're thinking about courage. We're thinking about control. We're thinking about repression. We're thinking about how we can just apply the appropriate amount of energy to things. Where do we need to soften the blow? Where do we need to harden our fist? It's that type of thing. Knowing how to get what you need without using all of the effort and all of the energy. It's being smart. It's focusing on what you passionately are aware of that you can achieve because it's going to be effortless for you. Focus on that. Work on that. I'm a Cancer moon, 29 degrees. Okay, so this is for me too, right? It is about the work as well because 8 is talking about where you can transform, where you can transition, what you can make your own that no one else can take away from you. And that is the sun, right? That's your vitality and just your general being, okay? Once you focus on that and you apply your skill set to you, hello, and not to other people, because this is Leo and they're not really about other people. They are about other people acknowledging what it is that they've offered. You know what I mean? That is applicable to like why things are happening. Why do plants grow? Because the sun is there. You know what I mean? Okay. But this is also someone coming in or you being intimidated by expressing your feelings to someone or someone being intimidated about expressing their feelings to you. This is just kind of like an outpouring of emotion. It feels like that. Or maybe you just really want to receive some love. Maybe you feel like you need that energy, right? You need that yin. You do need the yang for those of you who are, whatever your gender, whatever your feelings of who you are attracted to intimately or sexually. You know what I mean? You just need that right now. You need some understanding. You need people to really just kind of like see where you have had to make some sacrifices and where the struggles have really had to be. You want people to understand that. You want people to see where it is that you have really stepped up and also been there through your emotional struggles, right? I'm sorry, I'm not even letting you see the card. But it's that type of thing. There's some valor here. There's also some misconceptions, you know what I mean? Because this is Pisces mutable. And the last time we were in Pisces season, a mutable planet, Mercury, that's now in your sign, was there. And I just talked about the retrograde. So we're going to be going backwards. And we're going to be looking at some things in terms of like our feelings, our internal feelings, and how we have been like protecting those feelings and protecting those emotions and those places that we feel like people may not understand because we just have a very passionate view, right, inwardly towards that, right? We have to protect that part of ourselves because we're still trying to figure it out. And Mercury's there trying to bring some thought into the feelings, right? But it's not just kind of like trying to dissect the feelings with words or with principles or with fundamental sort of, theories and understandings of why feelings are there and why we feel them and responding and react. No, it's talking about you acknowledging your feelings and allowing you to process those feelings, go through those feelings. It's going to be overwhelming because Mars is there really striking a blow. You know what I mean? Mars is actually also making things a little bit uncomfortable for you because you're having to focus on those things, that you normally aren't really that keen on getting through. You know what I mean? This is kind of like, um, it's like when the nerd decides to go off and be in the Navy SEALs and he misses home every day and he put himself there. You know what I mean? It's like that. I don't know why I'm saying that. Anyway, but this is kind of like you feel responsible to really make sense of what it is that you're going through in terms of where your actions have probably contributed to you feeling sort of isolated and maybe alone, because that tower energy and that devil energy is isolation. Hello. And it's very concentrated. It's very dense. And what is opposing you, because it talked about opposition, is Saturn and Pluto conjunct in Capricorn retrograde. Okay. And this is your reading because I have another deck here, the Magical Dogs Tarot, which probably was going to be a lot lighter, but Spirit told me, go and get out the OG. Okay? The Rider Waite. Look at that. Saturn and Sagittarius. Okay? This is a 10, so it's talking about the overwhelming feeling of growth, pressure, right? The tightness, feeling like you want to burst at the seams and just let these things out and just let it go wherever it's going to go. But you can't do that. Right? Like I said, fundamental theory, right? Principles, technique, ways of doing things the right way. It's Saturn, okay? And Sag, you can't just drop all this shit at once. You've got to be meticulous about how you deal with it. Mars is a fiery planet. And watery too when you think about Scorpio, and that card did come up for you. Right? So you're dealing with some stuff that you don't want to deal with, or you're having to hide some things from people because they just won't understand because it's not them. You see what I mean? You can get people to kind of be there, to be a sounding board, right? To reflect. Satellite, Saturn, okay? It's giving it back to you and you're learning. And this is related to the Wheel of Fortune, so there's some risk here, right? But the risk is really just you letting go of things that you have become accustomed to. That's the risk. It's not like, oh my God, I'm about to bet $5,000 on a horse. Not that type of stuff. This is talking about risky business in terms of dealing with your feelings and how you assert yourself to process those things, because Mercury is a planet of process. It's related to Virgo, right? It's the third house and it's the sixth house, right? 3, 6, and 9 are talking about completions, okay? Getting to a point where you can say, okay, something has been done here that we can generally assess and see that there has been a progression from the beginning of this to the end, or to this point, so now we can get to the next phase, or now we can move on to the next thing, okay? And this is the card that's at the bottom of the deck, so you guys are definitely feeling the weight of something. Oh, I'm going to do cause and effect because that's where we have been going. Challenge. Bam. I haven't done this one in a long time, and it's Gemini season, and it's like, well, Little ballerina over here. All right, here we go. We already talked about the card that's at the bottom of the deck, so let's go ahead and get to it. So if you guys would like the video, I would love that. We have some energy here of you, right? We have your challenge and your influences, your immediate, influence. And then we also have the bottom of the reading, the base of the reading, which is what you know, what you've gone through, what you're dealing with, what you have dealt with. And then we have at the top what you haven't dealt with yet that's coming towards you. Okay. And then we have your air placement. Okay. Then we also have the water placement. I've got the earth placement and the fire. It's cause and effect. So you have 2 cards for each of those. Let's go. In the center of the reading, the King of Cups, it's you. And we talked about this Scorpio energy and this 8th house energy of really seeing, the way to deal with your feelings in a very mature way. Okay? You can't respond and react. There's an element of control here that we're also dealing with, and that's what you could be feeling. That's what the tightness might be. That's why you have this 10 of Wands here. This is an X, but it's a 1 and 0. So it's the awareness of where the opportunity to make some change, right? To let things happen. What do you have available to you that you can access? Okay, and use not recklessly. Well, and prove yourself to yourself, then there is, like, you've got to really be disciplined about, you are kind of taking a step back from the toxic energy of other people. Okay, Cancer. Also, you're trying to filter out, wherever you may have like created toxic energy in your relationships. Maybe you feel alone and isolated. You know what I mean? Maybe people are letting you kind of like deal with it on your own. You know what I mean? Deal with something because you feel they're going to learn from this, or you're going to only learn from this. And there's an element of like, crazy because you're doing it. You're controlling the you learning from the situation. It's like you're taking on this responsibility and you're doing it because you know that you deserve to show yourself what you're truly, really, actually made of. Okay. The challenge, another 8, the 8th house, but it's Virgo. Consistency in the work, getting it done, the proof of the work. Okay. The skill set. The 8th house is also talking about secrets. There's some things that you're working through on your own here that no one else knows. These are very individualized cards. Okay. And the work that you're doing that's hidden, that's internally, is for the better for everyone. It's not just for you, but you are the only one doing the work. It's a service to yourself, therefore, it's a service to everyone else. It's Aquarian, but it's a fixed sign. And we have to also think about, um, the kings being air, right? And their elements. So there is an element of perspective here that you are seeing a big picture on the 10, the completion and understanding, the 1 of the work, the opportunity of the work, the 0 and the 10, Saturn and Sagittarius, the work that you have to do to get somewhere, to get to a goal, to finish the process. This is saying that the process is going to get finished. This is saying you're still doing work because we always have work to be doing, right? It's like you've done the work, you're doing the work, and there's still work to be done. You've done the work, you're doing the work, and there's still work to be done. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry, everybody. I had to make some quick changes so I could finish this video because I'm not going to be stopped. Okay, so the King of Swords is here at the bottom of the reading, so that's what we're talking about. We're talking about that airy energy, right? And then this is also, the card that represents Aquarius. Hey, let me see. I love that. Never thought of that with the Eight of Coins. You've done the work, you're doing the work, and there's still work to be done. Hell yes! Right? Because, that's Virgo energy right there. That's Sun in Virgo, right? And Virgo is always saying, there's still something to do. Why am I bored? There's work to be done. You know what I mean? That's why they're so critical, because there is always work to be done, right? The earth never stops spinning. It never stops. The ocean never stops filtering itself out unless humans get involved. Red tide, okay, research that. You're welcome, Mitchell. Okay, so let's continue. So this is your perspective that you know, that you've been dealing with, that you understand. You've been processing these thoughts. You've been understanding fundamentally where you need some clarity, right? Or you've been understanding where there needs to be clarity, and now you are fundamentally applying yourself to act to gain that clarity, right, of the mind. Okay, and this is very clearing things out, right? The King of Swords is also seeing that it understands he understands where he fits into the scenario and how he affects other people, right? While not having to assert yourself to do that. You know that just because of your existence and your sheer presence, right? That you are going to be able to resonate with those around you. You don't have to try so hard. Okay? It's saying you don't have to try so hard. Kind of like let things sort of like flow naturally, right? And this isn't flowing like water, this is flowing like air. Okay? It's kind of like the breeze, it's a cool, calm breeze, pleasant breeze, and you've got your fists clenched when you really just need to open your palms and let your hands and your fingers feel the breath of spirit, right? That's what you need to let yourself do. Listen a little bit more to what's being told to you. From the depths of your soul. That's what I'm getting. And you have another page. Well, so there's some people here. It's you. It's an air sign, right? And then it's another air sign, probably. It's a page, so it could be a person. It could be someone. It could be, you know, it could be some questions that need to be answered in the future, right? There might be a conversation that's had because you've matured in a way that you understand where you need to step up, right? Because we are all here for a short period of time. And if you continue to go on asking yourself the same questions that you still aren't getting the answers to, or if you get the answers to the questions that you've been asking yourself your entire life, what do you do after that? There's still work to be done. But you're good. You're doing it. It's hard. You've got Saturn and Pluto in your house of relationships. Maybe you've dealt with some deaths. Maybe you've dealt with some really hard life concerns. Some things that you would have never asked to, sign up for a course to take. That type of learning. Okay? Requirement. That's what I'm getting. This is a requirement for you. And the Page of Swords is required to use his intellect, to strengthen his mind, to understand certain things that it hasn't been challenged to understand before. Cancer. I'm getting a little bit hot. Meaning like not like hot hot. I'm kind of hot hot, but I'm getting a little bit hot. And I feel it and I'm holding it back a little bit. Because I'm not going to yell at you, but that's what I feel like doing right now. And I don't know why. So, my guys, look, I knocked this thing over so many times. My elbow just fell off. They didn't let me use the magical dog's tarot because that was too light. I had to go for something real. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, let me use something cute for Cancer. And they were like, no, honey. Right? But when I picked up the deck, I split that deck up, and then the Chariot card was there, and I was like, okay, so this deck was meant to tell me to use this time to do Cancer. But you are learning something, and you're meant to learn it, right? Five of Cups, right? Loss, passion, loss of passion, right? A loss of sensuality. Maybe there was some sensuality lost, or you're missing that element of sensuality in a committed relationship, perhaps because it's related to Taurus. We were just in Taurus season. But this is also related to Scorpio, which is an opposition to Taurus, okay? So it's relationship stuff. Emotions, the loss of someone. Feeling regret, resentment, avoid perhaps. You having to understand where you have to draw the line and create the boundaries for your spirit. So it may not even be you just protecting yourself from someone, because that's done. You need to protect your spirit from the toxic energy of the feeling of lack, of the feeling that nothing else can be done, or created, or formed, or reformed, or transitioned, or transformed, right? Because this challenge here this card is here. It's here. But it's in the challenge. It's saying it can be. You've done some work, you're doing it, right? Don't get caught up in the fact that you're always going to have moments in life that you feel like this. People, you don't just get to feel like this one time in your life. Yay! Okay? So you need to be committed to understanding that you are always going to be faced with these fundamentals. Second house, Taurus energy. Five, the Hierophant. Five of Cups. See what I mean? These are challenges. You're trying to find a way to balance out your emotions after something that you created was destroyed. And now you're really seeing, you're drawing that line. Something is making sense now, because you can now compare and contrast. You're seeing things more clearly now. Before, you weren't. There was conflict. And now the writing's on the wall. Here's that Page of Pentacles again. Learning lessons, honey. This is meant for you. Right? It's destiny, too. Because the pages have to do with destiny because they're related to Saturn. And Saturn is related to karma. So, this is a process within a process here for you. Right? Because you're experiencing this lack, because you're experiencing this void, because this has something to do with the home too, right? The boundaries, that which you live, could be that for some of y'all. But this page here is saying that you feel like you are responsible to attend, to be attentive towards this, or in this process that you are facing. You are almost like honored, because you feel like this is going to bring you some level of growth. You feel like life is only going to get better from this point, right? You feel it coming. Oh, I feel it coming. I was trying to sing a song, child. I don't even know what song I was singing. I feel it all. Oh, that's it. It's a Feist song. Do you guys know Feist? I feel it all. I feel it all. Yeah, but that's it. You feel it all, bitch. You feel it all, right? We know that. We know Cancer feel it all. So since we're feeling it all, let's go to the water placement. Maybe that's what they were telling me. Judgment, Pluto, in your seventh house, giving you a transformation, giving you some atonement, getting you to see where you need to draw the line more than once, but twice, maybe 20 times. Okay? Some of you are dealing with forgiving your past, forgiving your exes, forgiving people that you've attached yourself to and that you've been attached to on a soulful level. This is a reparation. This is bandaging up those emotional wounds. Letting them heal, though. They've been bandaged. They've been bandaged up. Those emotions have been healing. You have been healing. You have been doing the work. And now that you know that those wounds have healed, you can now move forward. Honey, you don't have to put on no antibiotics anymore. You can put on bones. Okay? Right? It's not an open wound anymore. It's not. I mean, there might be some open wounds, right? Because this card does talk about open wounds as well. But it's like understanding where those open wounds are and allowing those to heal as well. But there has been definitely some healing. Some of you guys need some therapy in some kind of way. Holistic, right? Homeopathic, whatever. Acupuncture, massages, maybe touch. Some of you probably just need to have sex. You know what I mean? That probably is what caused this, perhaps. Or maybe there's some sexual tension, right? Because I did say, I don't want to be alone tonight. Queen of Wands, honey. So this is Pluto. Some of y'all are dealing with a Scorpio Cancer, or you're feeling that Scorpio energy, and Scorpio is here in your reading very throughout. So you're going through a transformation right now with Pluto being there in your seventh house of relationships. You are repairing some things, right? And you're also having to be a certain way that you're not used to being, but you know that like you can only get through this if you really like put on that swag, put on that floss, right? It's like you have to see it as swag, but it's really kind of like, a front, right? Although it is real. It's like you are putting on the front to yourself, not other people. So you're not really fronting anyone. You're fronting yourself. I gotta see what that means for me because I'm a Cancer now. So I'm like, what am I fronting myself? Oh, I could be fronting. Oh, yeah. Okay. You're fronting yourself because you're not doing all the things that you know you should be doing to just kind of be great, right? Because the Queen of Wands is like, I don't give a that Madonna song. I don't give a whatever she's saying. That was from like MDMA. What is this? What am I doing? Good morning, everyone. Hi, Tanisha. We're talking about power. We're talking about relationships. We're talking about committing to yourself. We're talking about really getting through the depths of your emotions, those really dark places, right? Because I was thinking about that as well. Because you can only have the light if you understand where the darkness is too, right? It's like the light has to find the darkness first, right? Right? So that the darkness can then see the light, or you can see the light in the darkness and realize where it is that you can start to be hopeful again. Some of you are mourning something, mourning a bond, a commitment. But you need to focus on work. You need to focus on business. You need to allow yourself to feel confident, okay? And express your confidence when you experience it, right? In those moments, right? Like I said, opportunity, you're being taught a lesson, right? You did get the Ten of Wands here. It is Sagittarius. It is Saturn and Sagittarius. So it is learning when the opportunity to do something and when to achieve something is there, knowing when to assert yourself in a way that is going to allow you to be skillful in, multitasking, really. Because it's talking about multitasking, right? Saturn and Sagittarius, really. A lot of multitasking. You might be doing too much for other people, but it's like the work. You've been focusing on work. Let's look at work. You got the Death card. And then you got the Two of Pentacles. So you got Pluto over here. And you got Mars, right? And the Death card with the Scorpio here. This transformation, power, courage, struggles, realizing that you can't control certain aspects of things that materialize in your life. You just can't, because you're not the only one that's here, Mars, who is related to Scorpio, and Mars is in your sign now, and the Tower came up at the beginning. And so did that codependency card, right? Realize you can't control everything, Cancer. You just can't. And you're going to be emotionally reactive. And you're going to have to try to control those emotions. You just can't be passive aggressive, because we do have Pluto here. Pluto is passive aggressive. The Sun is aggressive. Pluto is passive aggressive, right? But not always. Whenever we see the Judgment card, it doesn't have to be that way. I'm just giving you that, right? The Strength card did come up. You did get the Death card here. It is 13. That is a 4. That is related to Emperor energy. It is stepping up, right? Being soulfully responsible. Seeing light and shadow, and realizing in a mature way that it has to exist. There has to be one for the other to be acknowledged in a fair and just way. I did talk about reflection and satellite, give and take. What does that mean for us? That's when the fives come in, and we start to understand the challenges that we face, that we are committed to in this life. 5th house, right? 5, Taurus, Hierophant, religion, understanding that there is something else spiritually that we have to attend to, right? Hierophant, that mentorship, right? Spirit being our mentor, life being our mentor, life being God, God being life. We are in Gemini season. Gemini gives us that idea of God, as above, so below. He did it, so it is. We're here, right? Like the video, you guys. I love you. And when you look at this, I'm going to show you. It's what happens in between, the space between. Who is that? Is that Dave Matthews? Some of y'all listening to Dave Matthews? Okay. Sad songs. Look at that. If you think of this line at the top being the sky and this being the earth, this is all of the possibilities that happen in between. Okay? And that's also kind of like Mercury rules that energy of that Gemini sort of like, right? And Mercury is just making anything possible. Anything. Anyway, I'm going too far. But it's a 2. And it's related to the High Priestess, which is saying that there is something here to be revealed to you. You're doing a lot with a little, actually, in terms of work. Some of you might be borrowing money from other people, or you might be giving other people money, or you might just be figuring, oh, right, that type of thing. You know what I mean? You might be dealing with Scorpio, like I said. They might be dealing with some work stuff. You might be dealing with some work stuff. You might be dealing with trying to be fair and balance some things out here with work and money. It's being fair to other people. Also, paying your bills, supporting yourself, understanding, if you have children, because Scorpio is related to children, also Leo is as well, you know, that type of thing. Some of you might be thinking about having kids, wanting to have kids, maybe realizing you might not be able to. That's the thing that you can't control. Saturn is in the house of relationships where it wants to be. Pluto is talking about life and death and transformation. Capricorn is talking about life, success, and where you go in life. A lot of the times, people having kids, that's something, and that's why that Cancer energy is opposing the Capricorn energy, as Cancer is the mother. So children, that Gemini energy has to come in so that the Cancer can acknowledge that, right? Anyway, so yeah, there's that. You're dealing with that. Money, support, child support, kids, children, you know, dealing with passive aggressive fathers, right? Being able to see clearly through their BS. Understanding that they're emotionally sensitive and sometimes they react in ways that are a little bit unsavory for you. I don't know where that's coming from. Gentlemen, that's not for you. You might be a cross watcher. But, gentlemen, if you are listening to this, you are clear because you are represented here in this reading. You're represented in the Mars aspects, you're represented in the fiery aspects, and you're also represented in the kings here as well. So you understand what's going on. And for those of you Cancers that are dealing with males, they understand what's going on. They're not stupid. Okay? You know what I mean? Even in the relationship that you're in with them. If there's some stuff going on and you guys are at odds and there's opposition and you're just working through some of the darker ages of your chronicles in the relationship, they know what's going on. Even if someone is making you feel guilty about something, they still feel guilty about something too. And if they have made you feel guilty about something, then you have probably made them feel guilty about something completely different from what you both already feel guilty about. Okay? Because the tower did come up at first, and so did, the devil card. It did. It did. Now we got all these Scorpio cards here. So much Mars. A lot of Pluto. Doing stuff. People fucking up. Realizing, knowing that they were going to do it. It being a hard lesson. You not being able to get away from these things. You know what I mean? It's like when the fire burns out in something and you both know it, but you're still going. But now you have to fuel the fire again, but the place that you've been fueling the fire is damp. So you got to go to another place that's dry and ready for the fire to burn. That type of thing. Let's go into the fire. You guys. Let's go into the fire element. Yes, I better work this reading out. And here we go, darlings. Here we go, darlings. You. This is you. Right? Feeling like yourself at the end. Wishing, wanting, getting what you have done the work to get spiritually, because the star card is talking about spirituality, it's talking about meditation, it's talking about the 7 rays, it's talking about getting through major phases, chronicling your experiences with other people, right? You are getting back to you. this Mercury retrograde, because Mercury is here in the reading in the Earth placement, causing you to understand and work with, you know, the expectations, the unexpectations, the surprises that come in. Mercury rules this energy of consideration and understanding what's possible, every possibility from every corner. The retrograde is going to allow you to see that, oh, you're doing the work though, and you're getting what you want, and you're being responsible about it, even though some things are uncomfortable, even though you might be confused. Mercury retrograde brings us a little bit of confusion. And the star card, which is Aquarius, which Mercury is exalted in Aquarius. Okay? Uranus also rules Aquarius. Okay? Uranus is in Taurus right now, which is the second house, which is, you know, talking about the first stages of building. So you're getting to that place of rebuilding something. And that's what Mercury is talking about for you. You know? I know where Cancer is in my chart. It's my 10th house because I'm a Libra. And the 10th house is ruled by Capricorn and Saturn. But I have Saturn and Pluto in my first house of self and identity. And I am feeling it. Okay? But it's the 4th house from Libra that all of this stuff is going on. And my 4th house is ruled by Cancer and the Moon. And I'm a Cancer moon, so this reading I'm gonna have to listen to it later, child, because I'm getting hot thinking about it. Woo! You have a need to express something to yourself, right? And deal with it internally, because her cup is very closed off. You're dealing with your own emotions here. You're learning, right? You're going inward and you're experiencing a spiritual process that you're going to come out of renewed and refreshed, and with a new spirit, with a new passion, right? For yourself and a new passion for others. Passion for life. Passion for life. Let me pull a clarification card from this deck because I said I was going to. This is a really good reading for you because you're really dealing with some things that, you know, you can't run away from. You can't get away from it. And that's okay. That's okay. Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising. And that's all right. We're going to be good, though. We're going to be real good. With the star card here, honey. Be confident about yourself. You know, be confident in, like, you know, who you are. Be confident in what you have to offer because you are special. You know what I mean? You are unique. And you're going to get through this phase, right? Of learning and feeling held down, feeling held back, emotionally repressed, sexually repressed, feeling oppressed. I'm going to take this one. Three of C, Three of Cups. This is good. This is Mercury in Cancer. Oh, and that's where Mercury is right now, and he's going to go retrograde there. So this is a process of completion, right, that you're going through right now. You're going to come out of it with something new, feeling renewed, feeling rebirthed, right? It's a process. Some of you guys are going to be having children. Some of you guys might even be having some issues with your pregnancy right now or in the future during that retrograde season, or just in general at some stage, but it's okay. It's going to be fine. Okay, don't worry. Just definitely stay positive. You know, also, you know, baby showers, that type of thing. Some of you are like not wanting to have it because you're experiencing the difficulties, but it's saying that, you know, you can wait until everything the process has completed and you've had the baby, and the baby can be there, and it could be like the viewing, the look at the baby, right? And they all know all the stuff then. You don't need to do it the traditional way and have people, come in and like guess, don't do it that way. If you're having difficulties, just wait. For those of you who aren't dealing with that energy, then, it's saying definitely get out there and experience the joy of life again. Understand that there is abundance all around you, and everything that you have is everything that you have around you is accessible in some way. You know what I mean? Also, allow yourself to feed your soul, feed your spirit, give yourself those moments of high vibrational energy that you create. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's not just about the meditation and everything. It's like going out and experiencing lighthearted energy, right? It's in that season. We're in the summertime, you know what I mean? Or spring, going into summer. Um, yeah, but definitely go out there and see what you can get yourself into in a fun way. It's gonna lighten up your spirit, and it's gonna get you excited again. The third house energy. This is the three. I don't want to burn my cards. This is the three. There's a candle here. The Three of Cups from the Magical Dogs Tarot. See that? Three dogs having fun out there. Okay. Mercury and Cancer. So, it'll be that for you. It'll be you sort of like getting back to experiencing like the joys of life again. And there might be some discomforts there, you know what I mean? Some of you guys might need to go out on some dates. Some of you guys might be dealing with like not being able to have, you might have kids, and you might be dealing with going out and having fun while the kids are out of school, and you have kids, being able to go places and do things and have fun with your adults. The thing is that you've got to get your kids involved in things, so that when they go and do those things that you're not chaperoning and a part of, then you can then go and do the things that you want to do that are fun for you. Okay. And for those of you that just need to go out there and dip it and do it, go out there and dip it and do it. And some of you need to get back into your art and create more art and be more creative. You just need to do that for your spirit anyway, in general. Okay. Whatever it is. And if you're not a creative person, then you need to try to become one, because we've all been creative, so we all have the energy of creativity in us. Oh, come on, Empress energy in the threes, right? All right, Cancer. I'm gonna go ahead and leave you with that. I love you guys, and I need to go and cleanse. I'm gonna be reading at Shanti Crystal Bookshop, Crystal Gallery and Bookshop today at 230 East 14th Street between 2nd and 3rd Avenues. I'll be there from 12 to 4, 12 to 5, however long. Yes, come in, get a reading from me. And I'm also doing readings. I'm available. I'm open again. I'm not on vacation anymore. providencetarotkendrick at gmail.com. Follow me, NYC Kendrick, on Instagram. I'm also Kendrick NYC, Providence Tarot, and the Tongue Pot. Um, yeah. Okay. On NYC Kendrick, I'm a Pilates instructor, so I do a lot of videos in terms of like, show you what I do there. The tongue pop is really just what I create on my own, right? The Three of Cups here, I just told you, be creative. Food-wise, because I love the culinary arts and food. I'm a dancer as well, so I put things on Instagram that are dance, focused. And, sometimes I put things here that are dance, because dance is spirituality, and it's a way to communicate directly from spirit through your physical body, right? I was just talking about being creative, because you have been creative. Yes, Juilliard, that's where I studied, so dance is in my bones, and it always has been. Just like this kind of stuff always has been. I just had to discover it for myself, right? A lot of people have issues with, not feeling, their creative flow, and then they start to reach outwardly to things that make them feel good for the moment, but it's nothing long lasting. I can create a dance and it be that forever. I haven't yet. You know what I mean? I was really tired after that Scorpio full moon. My kids, and we had our our show. Then I came and I went on vacation. I was very tired after that Scorpio full moon. I don't know how you guys were because you're ruled by the moon, so I'm gonna guess you felt that too. Any water placements or anybody that's ruled by the moon or something like that, you probably felt that Scorpio full moon. Mm. But I'm back, I'm re-energized. And Saturn and Pluto for me, they give me a lot of heavy energy sometime being in my first house. And now it's in my fourth house. Um, so, I deal with that. But I know what I am and I know my worth and I know what I do. Okay. That's who I am, who I am, and where I am, and who I know, who I know, darlings. But humble is as humble does. So I know that, I have weaknesses and I have strengths, and sometimes I deal with my weaknesses. And, we all have patterns, right? That are challenges, because then we get to see eighth house where our strengths and weaknesses are when our patterns are off, or when you change your pattern, you know what I mean? Then you open yourself up to feeling weak to this newness, right? This new process, this new identity, this new open experience that you're being guided through. It's okay to be uncomfortable, Cancer. Emotionally, physically, um, spiritually. A lot of people are spiritually uncomfortable. That's why you get people spewing hate and saying things about people and wanting things like straight pride parades. Just saying. But yes, like the video, you guys. I love y'all, and I'm gonna try to get through as many of these videos as I possibly can. Um, this weekend and next week, Monday and all of that. But you guys' video is pretty long because I know you waited, and everybody's been waiting. Okay, so I'm just gonna get them done when I get them done, y'all. I love you. Bye, Cancer.